Greetings everyone, I am Dr. Wolf and I just watched A Decade of Pony. It was a sort of special documentary that was kind of leading up to the series finale. And yeah, I have to admit, watching some of these scenes and the creators and everyone talking about how much it affected their lives, it really made me nostalgic. I mean, goodness. For starters, I am glad that I heard beforehand that the last 5 minutes of this little documentary short are very spoilery towards the series finale, and I'm very grateful that I didn't have to watch the entire thing. I only watched like the first 16 minutes or so. There was one very brief moment where they were showing something that was obviously from the series finale, but it was over and done with pretty quick. As for everything else though, hearing each of the creators, the writers, the voice actors, the songwriters, everyone that was involved with the production, the storyboard artists, it made me feel so nostalgic. It made me feel excited. It brought me back to the early days of the fandom when I was just getting introduced to the show. And realizing even back then, just as all of these show creators did, that there was something truly special here. Now, listening to Lauren talk about her work so many years after she was initially pitching the idea, because as a kid, she would play with the My Little Pony toys from the 1980s show, and when Hasbro approached her and said, hey, could you do something with this property, Lauren kind of jumped at the chance and kind of started playing around with her toys again, so to speak. And yeah, thinking about each of the voice actresses like Tara Strong and Andrea Libman, Ashley Ball, Tabitha St. Germain, Rebecca Choiquette, so many of them who had no idea it would last anywhere near as long. I think one of the initial lines in this little short documentary is that if you get through one season, well, that's okay. You get through 3 seasons, it's a success, but no one expected us to go for an entire 9 seasons, and yeah, I didn't expect the show to go this long. I remember way back in the day when season 3 was just getting underway, and there were rumors going about that might have been the last season of the show. That might have been, well, let's get up to 65 episodes and call it there. Getting well over 200. Ooh, what an accomplishment. And hearing each of the writers and voice actresses talk about these early show seasons and watching those little clips. I mean, especially when Twilight is meeting Fluttershy for the first time, I admit, it kind of gave me the jitters. It was kind of melting my heart, remembering exactly what drew me into the show in the first place. And listening to them talk about how the 1980s show was kind of empowering for little girls. And as part of why they wanted to make this newer series, they wanted to appeal not only to a new generation of children, but also the moms who grew up watching the original 1980s show, and how they wanted mothers and their children to watch the show together. Not one of them would have expected so many adult fans who didn't even grow up with the show to start falling in love with it and just enjoying every single moment. That certainly threw me for a loop way back in the day. When I first heard that there was a big fandom that was surrounding this new generation of My Little Pony, I was like, really? Really? I was just confused. But I kept hearing more and more about it, and I am so glad that I took the steps to, hey, let's see what this show is about. Hey, let's see what this community is about. And oh goodness, there's so much to talk about. I want to put my own voice out there. Goodness. The creators talk about how it's changed their lives in so many ways. It's changed the lives of so many fans, including myself, over the years. And yeah, watching a special like this, it really tugs at your heartstrings. Not only making you feel so nostalgic, but I believe, as Ashley Ball puts it towards the end of the special, I've been doing this for so many years, and now it's going to end. And it feels so weird. Yeah, it is going to feel weird. It is going to feel like a chapter is closing. And then listening to Daniel Ingram talk about how many songs he's put together over the years, how at least one episode every season was kind of a musical montage. And yeah, listening to the pieces from years back, it really makes me want to go back and watch this series all the way through again. It's been so long since I've revisited some of those early seasons in particular. And then watching as so many of the storyboard artists and the writers, they work in spaces that is surrounded by pony memorabilia, with posters and plushies and figurines and little toys and boxes. And yeah, it's kind of fun to think that going into work every day and being surrounded by all this pony merchandise and getting to enjoy what you do, listening to the writers talk about how they're putting together these ideas and scripts and then getting so excited when they see the first animatics for something that they put together. Yeah, it is a tremendously fun feeling, isn't it? I can only claim to feel just a tad bit of what they feel when I get to see something that I was coming up with an idea for and suddenly see it spring into life many months later. I can only imagine what that would be like, going through that year after year for episode after episode. And thinking, as many of the show creators had pointed out, how My Little Pony Generation 4 has kind of changed the ball game. That there is children's content, and especially for little girls' content, that has been influenced by this generation of My Little Pony. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what new creators come up with because they were fans of this show or were working on this show. Lucky them. It is quite a trip watching this short little documentary and thinking about all the years that have gone by and how far everyone has come. I encourage more people to go seek this out. A Decade of Pony. It's fairly short, only a little more than 20 minutes, and I only watched like the first 16 minutes because I still don't want to be spoiled for the series finale. And speaking of the series finale, I think that I want to try to take those final 3 episodes one at a time as a way to close out the chapter on this series that I have grown to love for so long. I want to try and take my time with it. Instead of watching all 3 back to back, I want to try to watch one at a time, record my thoughts, and then edit everything together before I move on to the next episode. And maybe that'll change how I see things compared to so many other fans who watched these episodes many weeks ago and unfortunately spoiling things here and there. But I have managed to avoid most everything going into this series finale. And even though it is going to feel a little weird and maybe even a little sad to see everything come to an end, I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to those moments when I get to spend those last few minutes with these characters that we've all grown to love and enjoy, and think about, well, where everything will go from here. I'm not finished with this community just yet, and I hope a lot of you out there aren't either. But in the meantime, though, I would like to hear from each of you who have watched this documentary and how it made you feel. Whether you learned anything new about any of the writers or storyboard artists or the voice actresses behind these characters, and what you hope for the future of My Little Pony 2. Until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.